What's going on, y'all? Let's see if this is working. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Hey, what's up, dog? Did you see... I'm so bad at YouTube streaming in general. Did you actually see the post before it went live? Because I couldn't find it. I was trying to look on my phone to make sure I scheduled it properly. Yo, yo, yo. What's up? Is the audio there, guys? Can you hear me? Hello. We're going to dive into the nitty-gritty details on this. Oh, sick. Thank you, Toon Link. Were you guys able to see the post, like the scheduled post before I went live? Or did you just happen to catch me as soon as I went live? Because I'm not sure that I scheduled it correctly. Like, I'm just terrible with streaming stuff. Yes? Okay, sick. Oh, bet. Great. Alright, thanks, guys. I'm going to give it until a couple minutes after 11 here. And then we'll just get into... We'll start reading the victim reports from the big, bad, nasty touts of Kabukicho. Something that's been on the back burner here for 6 months or so. Since when I initially got attacked by these guys and I put out a video saying, if you've been victimized by the touts, hit me up. I'm going to share your story and we're going to bring more attention to this. Of course, I wanted to do it earlier, but one thing is, I ain't even going to lie, I kind of bitched out. I got some weird messages online, some threats, stuff like that. And I had no idea what to expect with this whole situation. So people had told me online that the touts have threatened to stab them. They've threatened to come find them. They've put hits out on people before. So I was kind of tweaking for a little bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to lay low. But after I've gathered some more information from some more credible sources, I've decided, you know what, it's probably not as bad as all the fear mongers want you to believe. So I'm going to start dipping my toes back into this situation because there are still people, even to this day, unfortunately, being attacked and being victimized by these guys in Kabukicho. And it's just crazy that we have to live like this. It's really crazy that we just allow this to happen, and everybody basically tells you, oh, just don't go to that area. Just don't go to one of the most popular nightlife districts of Tokyo. Oh, it's your fault. You went there. You were looking for trouble. We shouldn't have to live like this, and I think we don't have to live like this. So I'm ready to do something about it. I'm ready to start sharing everybody's stories. Obviously, it goes without saying, but send me an email, guys, yungjamesYT@gmail.com, if you have been attacked by any of these guys. I'll share your story. Obviously, I'm going to keep you anonymous. If you'd like to be anonymous, if you're willing to be on a video, be in an interview, even do a voice recording, that works so much better. Because when I just get emails and I have to blur people's names out and stuff, of course, that can just be seen as, oh, this guy's just making... I just emailed myself. I'm just making up stories and I just emailed myself. So, obviously, you know what I do on my channel. I keep it real. I'm not lying to anybody about myself. I'm not lying about the rest of the world. I say the uncomfortable truths. I don't try to prop my ego up. I will tell you guys if I'm an idiot. I'll tell you guys that my Japanese isn't as good as you might think it is. So in the same way, I'm trying to keep it real with all the tout stories. So there are a lot of people that have reached out and have said, like, oh, I've heard of somebody being victimized. I've heard of somebody being scammed, somebody being ripped off. And that's great, but so has everyone else in the world. And they're like, oh, well, I read some stuff about it on Reddit, so I want to talk on video. And hey, I really appreciate your support. I'm glad that you want to do something about it. But we're trying to keep this as real as possible. I'm not trying to stir up a bunch of fear if people are just reading stories from Reddit. I'm trying to have real victims. Obviously, and if there are none, that's great. Then we go through this whole situation realizing, okay, maybe we were just insane. Maybe there was never really an issue. Maybe we were racist. But that's probably not going to be the case. because we know there are a lot of victims, and over 10 of them have reached out to me so far, but the issue is it's really hard to get people to speak up. I would say like 5 or so of them didn't even tell me their full story because they're just like, I don't know. And, also, can you blame people so much? If you're a victim of a crime, especially something as traumatizing as getting drugged, like, date rape drug, basically, and waking up a day later, and maybe they held a knife to you, or they said they were going to stab you, they said they were going to find you, they took $6,000 out of your credit card, they maxed your credit card out. Is it really for me to judge how victims deal with that? I don't know. But as a victim myself, that was my mindset originally, kind of, when this thing first happened. I was like, I don't know, people are telling me I should do this and I should do that. And it's like they haven't been through it. So how are you going to tell me how I should deal with this problem? I got assaulted, and it just doubled how traumatizing it was, me going to the police, me trying to make something of this, trying to bring attention to it, and I go to the police and they don't want to help me. And then I go back to the police station again. Instead of just going to the Coban, I go to the police station again. They don't want to help me. They say that I was looking for trouble. I shouldn't have even been in that area. They say that, why are you even filming yourself in public? People don't like it when you film in public in Japan and stuff like that. And that frustrated the hell out of me, and then I post the video and stuff, and I try to bring some attention to it, and then a bunch of people are angry at me, saying I'm trying to stir up drama and stuff. It's just like, so at the time I was like, who are you to tell me how to deal with this issue? I'm a victim of this, and this sucks. As I kind of, looking back now, it feels like I had like a baby mindset, but I just remember thinking, like, all these people are, dude, you have to stay on the issue. You have to. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know about my safety. Like, look at the things people are saying about me online. Like, should I really keep talking about this issue? As much as I do believe it, it's like, it's frustrating. It's stressful. People are saying that they're going to kill me, like anonymous accounts online. But now, after being through it and seeing how, I don't know if really anything got done. I guess more attention has been brought to the issue, but I feel like I have a more level-headed take these days, 6 months, kind of like 6 months later after the fact, where I would say that it sucks and it is stressful, and it's really terrible that anybody has to go through something like that. But you have to stand up for what's right. You have to bring justice to these fools. If you're the victim of a crime, and I know that's so hard, because like I said, I've been through it myself. I know how hard it is to, like, you've already got all these problems in your life, then you get attacked, then you're going through all these stressful situations, and the last thing that you want to do is spend a bunch of your time at the police office having them tell you that, oh, maybe you shouldn't have been doing this, oh, we're not sure if we can convict this guy, we're not sure if we can. It just adds on to all the stress. But what's the alternative? To just let this go on forever and nobody speaks up? It's like, if not me, who? If not now, when? Are we just going to let our world turn into a PvP server and just be okay with that because people who are living real lives, trying to go to work and stuff, have to take a day off of work, like me, or from school, to go report this to the police? You have to stand up. You have to say something. So, anyways, we're diving back into it, guys. We're diving back into it. I'm glad to have y'all here with me. We're going to get into not all of these stories, because I have like over 10 stories from people who were victimized by the Touts, or friends, people who say they have friends that were victimized by these guys. I'm going to try to do this on a couple other streams, but today we're just starting off with maybe the first 3 that I got. And they get progressively 4. I guess I have 4 stories today. We're going to read emails, and I have some videos and pictures and a voice message victim account of what happened to him. And they get progressively worse as we go through. So stick around till the end of the stream, because we will have... I think I have them kind of in order of like when the emails came to me. Maybe not exactly, but for the most part, that's how I lined it up. And the last one that I have is definitely gives you a good picture of how these guys run their bars, how they scam people, and how they get their money. So stick around, guys. We're going to get into it. What's up, y'all? All right. So glad to have you guys in here. Thanks for showing up and supporting your boy. Let me know if you can see. Oop, not that. Gonna get into the. Here we are. All right. This is the first victim account. All right. So nothing too serious. This obviously, let's take all of this with a grain of salt. Take it for what it's worth. There's always a chance that people could just be making stuff up, but these stories get a little more real as we go on. So this is the first email that I got, and I have a bunch of pictures from online from other victims as well, and we're going to get to all of those in some other streams here. But for today, first email I get, this guy goes, "Hey James, my name is blank. I was in Tokyo back in November of 2024. And so, if you guys know, November of 2024, most of the touts in the last 5 years or so have moved from Roppongi to Shinjuku. So back in the day, it was like mostly Roppongi, and then it became like Roppongi and Shinjuku. And then in the last couple of years, the police have been cracking down on crime in Roppongi a lot, on a lot of scam bars in Roppongi. So a lot of like these African fellas have come from Roppongi and moved to Shinjuku in the last few years, and I think that's why it's gotten so much worse, and they're getting so much more emboldened, and they're attacking people, and we're seeing more and more reports online of these guys attacking people in the Shinjuku area. So this guy goes, "My name is blank. I was in Tokyo back in November 2024, so at this point they were probably mostly in Shinjuku. A friend of mine were in Shinjuku near Golden Gai." Yes, that's exactly where it is. You guys know Golden Gai is, the entrance of Golden Gai is one of the main areas where these guys hang out. Now, of course, they're scattered all around Kabukicho. Definitely in front of the Godzilla statue. And then definitely, what's it called? Kuyakusho Dori. It's a different street. And then the Golden Gai entrance as well. And they know that the foreigners love Golden Gai. If you guys don't know what Golden Gai is basically a bar. Let's just look it up right now. Golden Gai. So I can show the people that don't know, who maybe haven't been to Japan before. Golden Gai. This is basically like a little bar hangout. It's like all these retro bars. There's a bunch of like little small alleys in Shinjuku. It's a very famous drinking district. Not too many Japanese people actually hang out there these days, but yeah, basically looks like this. And this is kind of on the other side of Kabukicho, and it's full of tourists. It's basically all tourists, and the bars are kind of upcharged these days, but full of tourists. A perfect spot to find tourists that, one, have their guard down because they're drinking a whole bunch, two, have their guard down because they're drinking a whole bunch. What was going to be my other point? But yeah, drunk tourists going to do the touristy thing, just having a good time, hanging out in the nightlife district. They go to this area. This is Golden Gai, and right toward the entrance of Golden Gai from Kabukicho is where a bunch of these touts hang out. So he goes, a friend of mine and I were in Shinjuku near Golden Gai. They followed us around and up and down streets shouting at us, saying, "We can get you girls, you want a drink." Yep, this is how they work. Come to this bar. That's what they do. They follow you around up and down the streets. "We can get you girls, you want a drink." They pull on your shoulder, they grab your clothes, and that's the thing that annoys me so much, is so many people say, well, if you just leave them alone, they leave you alone. Oh, you just have to not follow them. But do we really have to put up with that in the first place? When they come up and they shake your hand, a lot of times what they do is they grab your hand hard as hell and like squeeze it to try to get some type of physical dominance on you. Or a lot of times they come up and they pull on your shirt. "Hey, brother, come this way." They come up and they grab you and they start pulling you on your shirt. And then people are like, "Oh, just ignore them, man. Just ignore them. If you've got a problem, it's your problem." I don't have to walk, or I shouldn't have to, especially in the safest country in the world, in the safest city in the world where people don't do stuff like that. I shouldn't have to walk around to be worried that somebody's going to walk up to me offering me drugs and yanking on my shirt and then just say, oh, just tell him no thanks and walk away. Like, what the hell are we talking about? They tried pulling on our sleeves. Yeah, okay, I didn't even read this part yet. They tried pulling on our sleeves, putting their arms around us. Yeah, they do that too. They walk up and say, hey, brother, hey. And they like put their arm around you like this and like, you know, rough you around a little bit, assert their physical dominance. And most of these guys are big, so that can be intimidating. Putting their arms around us, they try to make us walk to where they want us to go. After we said no multiple times, my friend got shoved and pushed, and we got cursed at. And this is very typical. And a lot of guys like to do this thing as well, where like, I get it. If you're walking around as a tourist in this area, a lot of guys like to do the thing where, you know, these guys come up and they say, oh, are you looking for girls? Are you looking for sex? And then like the tourists, they do this thing where they say like, oh, how about boys? How about you? I'm gay. And they say stuff like that. And I get that's kind of funny. But I was with one of my friends and he did that. He responded to one of these guys and said, oh, do you have any boys? I'm gay. And the guy was like, fuck you. And like stood over him like he was going to hit him. He got so angry. And it's like, we don't have to live like this, man. Why are we putting up with this? And just, oh, dude, if you got a problem with it, you're the crazy one. Just leave them alone. Anyways, he goes, I hope your video brings awareness to people visiting Japan about this issue. Yeah, without a doubt. We don't want anybody else to be victimized. Yeah, they tried pulling on our sleeves, putting their arms around us to try to make us walk where they want us to go. And even that is over the line. I know a lot of people are watching this video right now, and you guys are thinking, oh my gosh, oh no, that's all that happened to you? They put their arms around you and they were pulling on your sleeves? Guys, do you remember where we are? We're in the safest country, the safest city in the entire world. And this is the only place in this country, in this city, where that will happen. And it's from these African guys. The Japanese touts, the Chinese touts, yeah, they might scam people occasionally. They don't do this thing where they come up and they get physically aggressive with you and yank on your clothes. And we just accept it as normal. All right. Next one. Shinjuku encounter, he says. Greetings. I seen on Reddit that you're making a story about the thugs in Shinjuku and you're looking for stories. Well, here's mine. I'm a foreigner as well. I was strolling through Shinjuku with my friend who just made it to Japan. So let's get off this thing. Just made it to Japan, and one of these thugs walks up to me spewing some BS about how his club has women ready for me, offering the women for sexual favors. Yep, that's what they do. I politely declined. I kept walking. Then the guy reached out, grabbed my jacket sleeve, like we were just talking about. I proceeded to yank my arm away and said, fuck you to him. The guy threatened to stab me and started speaking in his native tongue. Of course. For this reason alone, I hate Shinjuku, Kabukicho, he says, Kabukicho, specifically. Thanks for reading. Same thing here. You might deal with Japanese touts. You might deal with Japanese scammers. You might deal with Chinese scammers in Tokyo, in Japan. We know that that's a thing. Never do you have to worry about physical violence, people saying they're going to stab you, they're going to kill you, people walking up, grabbing on your arms, yanking you around, acting like they own this area. And if you don't do what they want, if you just simply refuse their offer, they're going to threaten violence against you. They're going to hit you. They're going to yank on your clothes. Why do we put up with this? And the worst part of it all, that annoys me more than anything, is when you say, guys, this sucks. I hate these guys. Some English teacher who lives in Japan, who spends way too much time on Reddit, is going to get in your face and say, bro, come on, man. Dude, if you got a problem with those guys, you must have a problem. Come on, bro. Those guys are actually like really friendly. Oh, you're angry just because they walk up and they pull on your clothes a little bit? Like, oh my gosh, that's all you had to deal with? Why are you so angry? I don't want that to happen. I don't want that. I don't want to deal with this. This is not something that happens in Japan. We know Japan is a perfect example of why we know we don't have to put up with crime. We don't have to put up with intimidating, violent people every day. Japan is the perfect example of that. And that mindset of, oh, come on, bro, if you're upset about that, you got a problem. Just don't go there, man. Just leave them alone. Is what is going to get more people hurt and more people victimized. All right, continuing. Next email. Tokyo Touts, Shinjuku. Now notice it gets in more detail. All right. Hey man, hope you're doing well. I seen a post on Reddit that mentioned you are... Hold on. Am I reading the same one as that I just read? Is this the same guy? Am I realizing this right now? It sounds a lot... I seen a post on Reddit that mentioned you were gathering stories about touts in the Shinjuku area. Wow. Sounds very similar. It's not from the same email, though, I promise you. Strange. The wording is similar, though. Hey, man, I hope you're doing well. I seen a post on Reddit that mentioned you were gathering stories about the touts in Shinjuku area in Tokyo. I was there last week, and I was repeatedly approached by all these men, which are all from areas like Ghana, etc., trying to pull me into strip clubs and bars. Not the worst thing in the world. Like we said, Japanese touts do that as well. Nothing wrong with that. It's legal in Japan. I'm streetwise, so I know how to handle their behavior, but one guy in specific that I was talking to on the street as I was walking offered to let me use the toilet in the venue. I clearly stated that I did not want a drink or anything, but I just need somewhere to go pee. He was very friendly and led me to the inside of a bar. When I came out to the toilet and tried to leave, he became extremely aggressive and in my face, holding the door shut, not allowing me to leave. Of course, he's got you in, he lured you in, and now he's trapped you. Out of the public eye, away from the Kabukicho security guards, not that they really do anything. Yelling that I had disrespected him and I was rude for using the toilet without buying anything. Now, of course, and especially in Japan, like sometimes you can do that in America. You can go into different establishments and just use the toilet and they don't really care. You can't do that in Japan. But if this guy told you that was okay, that's on him. Yelling that I disrespected him and I was rude for using the toilet without buying anything. I also became aggressive and nearly got into a fist fight with him. But luckily enough, I had been talking to the bar owner previously, and he turned up at just the right time to defuse the situation. The owner of the bar goes by the name of Stone. Now, I doubt that's his real name. Apparently, these guys periodically use, they use fake names and they periodically change them. But anyways, Stone, he owns one of those bars where they lure you in and they pay you to talk to girls. I was talking to Stone for a while after. He was genuinely a nice person. Okay, well, that's great. But I told him that the guy had just locked me in his venue and made me feel very unsafe. He said he doesn't really know that guy much, but knows who he is. Yeah, so, and I would believe that. Well, I don't know if I would believe that he doesn't know him much, but the touts don't necessarily work for these bars directly. What they do is they catch out on the street. And so how it works is they stand out on the street. If they bring someone into a bar, it's like the finder's fee. They bring someone into a bar, they get a percentage of your bill, or they get whatever, 1,000 yen, 2,000 yen, something like that. Not too much money, but every time they bring someone into a bar, they just get a little bonus for bringing someone in. So it's not like they necessarily work directly for these bars, but they have connections with all of these bars, plenty of these bars in the Kabukicho area. You bring someone into a bar, you get a little percentage of the bill, something like that. The overall experience of practically being held hostage just for going to the toilet was horrible. I believe it. Yeah, it sounds terrible. I was having a lot of fun on the street of Shinjuku, but after that ordeal, it totally ruined the vibe of the area for me. Exactly. Hanging out on the street in Shinjuku, just hanging out in Shinjuku and Kabukicho in general, is a lot of fun. And it's not as dangerous as people act like it is. I have countless videos of me walking around in Kabukicho talking on the camera. So, like, all these people will say, oh, well, if you're going to that area, you're looking for trouble. You're just trying to get into some disgusting nightlife. Like, not really. A lot of people are just there to go to the movie theater. A lot of people are just there to go to one of the restaurants. Thousands of restaurants in that area. A lot of people are just there to go to, like, they have, like, idol concerts there with, like kids and old men go to. Like, this idea that you're just going to Kabukicho looking for trouble is ridiculous. And then, oh, we just have to put up with this. Makes no sense. I found out the best way to evade these guys when they approach is to just tell them, we already spoke today. Yeah, that's great. And they leave you alone. Another thing that you can do is literally just act like they don't exist. That's the best thing to do. And, of course, that kind of sucks because why do you even have to do that? You should just be able to keep walking or just walk around in peace. But since they are there, the best thing that you can do is just act like they don't even exist. Because usually if you say, no, thanks, I'm good, then they make eye contact with you. They say, hey, come up, and they start putting their arm around you and stuff like that. Anyway, take care, man. If you need further info, feel free to reach out. Basically, that's it. And we're going to get into the fourth now. The fourth email here, and this is a long thread that goes back and forth. We've got a couple different videos here. This is, so far, the best evidence that I had gotten up to this point. Check in on the stream really quick. Good to see you guys. What's up? What's up? Oh, I hope I'm not lagging too much, guys. Guys, the email is yungjamesYT@gmail.com. If you have a story, email me yungjamesYT@gmail.com, all right? Please. All right. How are we doing? Can you guys still see everything that's going on? I want to make sure you guys can see and hear what's going on. Let me check in on my phone. Why don't I do that? So I'm so bad at the streaming stuff. I always get worried that it's not actually working like I planned for it to work. Before we get into this final email here, let me check the chat. All right, here we are. Great. Is ads on this? Who put ads on here? Oh, ads on my stream. Japan is soft on crime. Yeah, it's very nuanced. It's interesting because a lot of people think that they're like super, super tough on crime, but that hasn't been true really in my experience. And I think a lot of that is because... Let me change it back to my face here for a moment. I think a lot of that is because people always talk about the 99% conviction rate or whatever it is in Japan. I think it's the perfectionist culture in Japan. I don't think it's necessarily that they're getting all of these criminals and they're convicting everyone. I think it's just they don't investigate things unless they're completely positive that they can convict this person. And that makes a lot of sense with the Japanese culture. Risk-averse, perfectionist culture. They don't ever try anything unless they're positive that they can do it 100%. And I think that's what it is. And so that's why it may look like in some instances they're very tough on crime, but in some instances it looks like they don't do anything and they just let things go because they don't have enough evidence. And I do believe kind of when the police told me that they didn't have enough evidence to find this guy, I don't know. Yeah, because there's no way they don't even know who that guy is. Because that guy, I know personally that exact guy has had the police called on him many, many times, and he's always in the same area. But still, I don't know. It's fishy. It's fishy. Check my super chats. What up? Yo, thank you, Cruz, my dude. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Appreciate it. Just showing my bro some love. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, bet. So we're going to get into the final story that I have from the Touts here. All right, this is, we can delete these, I suppose. 1, 2, 3. All right, this one gets into a little bit more detail here. So this guy emails me after the other people have emailed me. He goes, Hey there, I saw on Reddit you might be taking a video about these guys. It's crazy the Japanese officials allow them to exist. I was lured into one of the karaoke clubs where they were promoting in Shinjuku in December of 2022, just a couple weeks after Japan opened up for tourism. Was offered karaoke, free drinks, etc. And that's what they always say. I mean, at the very least, they're just going to run up your bill, or they're not going to promise you they're not going to give you what they promised you before you went in. So they'll say, you get karaoke, you get free drinks, and then the drinks aren't free, and then the karaoke, they say, we got pole dancers, we got strippers, they don't have any of that, and they run up your bill. He goes, I was roofied and robbed of hundreds of USD cash, thousands on my credit card. Was lucky that I was able to contact my bank to fix the credit card charges, but they took my cash. I have a pretty crazy story. No clue how I made it to my bed that night. Went back to Japan in 2023 and confronted another Nigerian outside of the same club, and he was defensive and said the club has a new manager. Bullshit, I don't believe that for a second. And even if they do, they're probably still doing the same stuff. Actually, I could find that out because I know who the manager of this very club is. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is, and I could find out from sources whether or not that is actually true. But of course he's going to say that. Of course they're not going to be honest. So I go, thank you very much, whatever, doesn't really matter. He goes, I'm happy to do a voice recording or a voice interview. I know that doesn't totally help with credibility, but I just don't want my identity to be tied to something like this. Because I do have a bit of shame that I accepted the free drink, was at a karaoke, girly bar, etc. I'm sure you can understand this. And this is also important to note, this guy found me from Reddit. It's not like he's one of my viewers and he's just like, hey, I just want to support James and make up a story. We know this, well, we can believe that this is real because he just found me from this Reddit post and he was like, I want to contact this guy and just share my story. And I don't blame him for being scared and embarrassed to share the story. But here we go. Attached is an audio recording. I can redo it if you want, no problem. Want to help you get the best video out? See below the video for what helped me confirm exactly what happened to me. Starts 8 minutes into the video. All right, let's watch it. This
a tout on the street. I didn't hear the conversation, so I don't know what was offered, but in any event, we found ourselves in a bar and were taken to a karaoke room and were brought several trays of drinks for the group. My husband sang a bit of karaoke, as did the others in the group.
This is a video from abroad in Japan, I guess, and basically he just goes into detail talking about how these scam bars work, what exactly they do. And you go into karaoke, next thing you know, you wake up the next day, you don't know where you are, they take a bunch of your money, they run out your credit card, and that's how it happens. Alright, so let's get back to this guy's email.
But then at that point, we don't...
So anyways, he links the video to the Abroad in Japan video saying basically exactly what he described in the video happened to me. Additionally, I was able to find the establishment where this happened, thanks to the Geo feature on the iPhone. I found a video of the American guy I met doing karaoke right before we blacked out. We blacked out. The American guy blacked out as well, apparently. Also attached is this video. Please blur his face. Thank you. Below is the Google Map street view of the bar. Also my cell. He gives me a cell phone, all of this stuff. A lot of evidence here. All right, so let's get into the voice recording of him explaining everything that happened. Victim 1.
Okay, so it was December of 2022. It was my first time in Japan. I was there with some friends. This is just a few weeks after Japan opened up for tourism. They had a strict COVID policy, I think like China, so it was a cool time to be there because there were very few tourists. So basically just out in Shinjuku, drinking, ended, in that touristy area where the Godzilla is.
Where the Godzilla is. Same place where I was.
met up with another American actually, who was also from the greater Los Angeles area, like myself. And we just decided to hang out for the night and, go drinking, walked around Golden Guy, kind of what a lot
Notice, Golden Guy again.
of tourists do their first time in Tokyo. Got moderately drunk, ended up talking to one of those Nigerian promoters who lured us into a karaoke club. I offered free drinks, kind of the whole routine. So handed us karaoke microphones, kind of brought girls to our table, gave us free drinks, and it was basically lights out from there. Woke up the next morning.
It's basically lights out from there, he says. Let's go back.
So
just out of nowhere.
Handed us karaoke microphones.
Yep.
Kind of brought girls.
Just so you guys know, I took the address that this guy gave me, and this is where I took Tyler Oliveira and his crew. And we went to the same bar. The pictures, the videos are the same. The address is the same. Luckily, nothing happened to us. I think probably because we were running like 5 deep or whatever. But let's continue.
To our table, gave us free drinks, and it was basically lights out from there.
Lights out from there? What does that even mean?
The next morning.
Woke up the next morning.
Kind of confused, and he messaged me on WhatsApp and said, "Hey, dude, do you think we were roofied? What happened?" I said, "No, man, we were just drinking. No big deal."
Of course, he was in denial. The first conclusion that he jumps to isn't, "Oh, we were roofied." It's just, "Oh, we were just drinking."
Roofied? What happened? I said, "No, man, we were just drinking. No big deal." Thought about it a little bit more, and things just weren't adding up. I'm a relatively heavy drinker sometimes. I know I can handle at least 10 to 12 drinks if I'm spaced out, and I had probably a third or half of that, and it just made no sense.
A lot of people will say that too. They'll say, "You were just drinking a lot, and you just lost control." Really?
I'm spaced out, and I had probably a third or half of that, and it just made no sense that I could black out and be so sick and not remember the whole evening. So I ended up watching a video, a YouTube video that was something titled like "Scams to Watch Out For in Tokyo," and basically heard about a tourist a couple of years before that had experienced something very similar. He said he was taken into a club, was roofied, and robbed, and I started having flashbacks of the night before. And chills just went down my spine. I remember, well, I don't remember a lot, but I had this memory of being put into another room and calling my friends, crying, saying that I needed help, and they were taking all my money, while my body couldn't fight back at all, though. So they were, whoever it was, I don't.
This is exactly what people say time and time again. And there are videos, there's like a video online, I need to find it somewhere, of these Nigerian guys like standing behind this guy at an ATM machine. The guy's taking money out of an ATM. And there are stories that people have talked about how these Nigerians have led them to an ATM because they said, like, they don't have their cash on them or whatever happens. And they go to an ATM and take out money and give it to them. And it's like, I don't know, I just felt like I couldn't control my body. I couldn't stand up. I didn't want to, but I just couldn't control myself. Maybe it's because they were drugged.
Help, and they were taking all my money, while my body couldn't fight back at all, though. So they were, whoever it was, I don't quite remember if it was the Nigerian people or if it was Japanese bar, staff or the girls. They were, they took all my cash, and they had access to my wallet, taking all my money. I looked at my bank statement and saw that they had drained, I forget what it was, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
What?
But it was on credit, and I was able to call my bank and get it all figured out, thank God. So, yeah, that's my situation. I love Japan. I've visited Japan again since that experience. It's my favorite country to visit, and I'm a pretty well-traveled person. I've
Disgusting.
you know, and I think I think a lot of tourists guards are down when they go to Tokyo because
Yep.
they assume it's, you know, one of the most safe major cities in the world, which it definitely is.
Exactly.
So you know, you're not thinking the worst can happen when you're in a place like Shinjuku, but you know, my story is obviously one that's all too common, and
All too common.
you gotta watch out.
Definitely. All right, and then we're gonna go into the video that he took of the American guy that he met while he was out drinking at Golden Guy, and this is the video he took just before he blacked out, and the American guy blacked out as well, apparently. So, I want you guys to notice, and this is, I mean, look up the Tyler Oliveira video. This is the exact bar where we went to. The inside is the same. One of the bars.
Too common, and you gotta watch out.
Each time I find myself laying flat on my face.
This is what it looks like. They promise you we're gonna have this club and it's bumping with all these girls and they're stripping and they're on poles, and I mean none of that's true. There are a couple girls sitting around on these couches. Like they always say that they're Japanese too. Not that it really matters, but they're always, oh, it's Japanese girls. It's not Japanese girls. It's like Filipina and Brazilian girls. They're just kind of sitting around, and you're sitting there doing karaoke or whatever. They promise you these super low prices.
Myself up and get
This is what the inside of this place looks like.
back in the race.
This is the same karaoke bar that Tyler and I went to, and we sang karaoke there.
That's life. And I
And then we go down to the images that he sent. So this is the bar, he says. Wings. So the building is called Wings. The bar is called Goddess, apparently. Goddess Club Card. Click on it here. This is what it looks like. This may be the bar to avoid. And this is where Tyler and I went. You can see, yeah. Anyways, you guys get the idea. This is where this stuff happens. It's not just this bar. There are many bars in Kabukicho where this stuff happens. It's disgusting. I wish it didn't happen. I'm going to be sharing more stories in the coming weeks from the victims. If you guys have been victimized, please hit me up so I can share your story as well. And try to get some type of long-term plan on what to do about this, if there is anything that we can do legally. I've been talking to some people who work in Kabukicho, like some locals, who also are upset about the issue, and what they want to do is they want to get these guys out of there because they're making a bad name for the more legit nightlife businesses. And people are afraid to go into the legit nightlife businesses because they're getting drugged and roofied in the not-so-legit nightlife businesses. But they don't, of course, if you're coming from overseas, you don't know how to discern whether a place is legit or not legit. So I have been talking to some, basically, I think they're owners of a nightlife service in Kabukicho, which of course is kind of, it kind of goes against my channel to like promote that, because I'm willing to self-improvement and stuff like that. But these guys want me to, they want to like do some type of collaboration where they anonymously give out information about these guys, but they also want in return for me to like help promote their nightlife business, like their some type of, you know, women of the night service on my YouTube channel, which I don't know if I want to do that. Does that make me a bad person to just do it anyways? I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. Something I'm going to have to think about. But the email, guys, is youngjamesYT@gmail.com. If anybody else has been victimized, please let me know. Hopefully we can share your story. Ideally, I can get it on video so it just looks more legit, so it doesn't look like I'm just sending emails to myself or something. If you're not comfortable with that, we can do a voice message, just like this other guy where I change your voice and I blur out your face, whatever you need. Really just want to bring more attention to this issue. Let's check in on the chat before I get out of here, guys. I'm about to go to the gym in a moment here, but thanks for tuning in. What's up, Mr. Smith? Nissan Smith says, every time you take a sip, I noticed your stream buffers a bit. Are you sitting on your router console? I really do apologize for the stream quality, guys. Unfortunately, this is just what I have to work with right now. I can try to tweak it a little bit on my computer, like change the stream settings so maybe it's a little bit smoother. But unfortunately, I only have this like really crappy laptop, and I don't currently have the money to get like a better computer that's going to work better for me. If anybody has any tips or like something that I can do, maybe let me know. So I really apologize for the stream quality, and that's a big reason as to why I don't stream so much, because it's just like I don't really have a good setup. And I don't currently have the funds to buy a good setup for myself. So I do apologize for that. Sorry, guys. When I go there, I pretend I'm deaf. Then I spat out when they get close. Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to do. Micro Evolved. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Yeah, exactly. That's the best thing to do. Like, act like you don't even see them. You don't even know that they're there. If you usually say, "Oh no, I'm good. I'm all right. No thanks, bro." Then they go, "Oh, come on, are you sure?" And they start talking to you, and they put their arm around you, and they do all of this stuff. You know, obviously, it sucks that you have to do any of that at all. But hey, that's, I guess that's the world that we live in. So, all right, guys, send me an email, youngjamesYT@gmail.com. We're going to continue talking about this. We're going to continue bringing up these issues. And, of course, it's not limited to the Nigerian guys. If you have stories of being scammed anywhere in Japan, or crime happening in Japan, or something that we should check out or we should bring to light, let me know. Maybe there's something we can do about it. I am kind of wary about diving into issues like this in a country that's not my own, stirring up trouble, especially in Japan, because in Japan they have this mindset of, if you see an injustice happening, that the best thing to do is just ignore it and kind of like let it go, because that bothers less people. Like, if one person's being victimized, then yeah, one person is just victimized and that's it, and you ignore it and act like that's all that should happen. But if you go out of your way and you start a fight with the person who's attacking someone else, and then other people get involved, and then it creates a bunch of noise, and then other people are bothered, now you're actually at fault because you're contributing to disturbing the peace, kind of, is how they look at it. That's completely backwards to my American mindset, but I do have to recognize that I'm living in Japan, so I'm hesitant to be like the guy, like, oh, I'm a foreigner living in Japan, and I'm going to go and just stir up a bunch of noise and cause a bunch of trouble, even if it is kind of for justice. But maybe there's something we can do. Shoot me some ideas, guys. youngjamesYT@gmail.com. Hit me up. Thank you so much for popping in, and I'm going to head to the gym. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, all right? Thank you, guys. All right, peace out, guys.